Hello, my name is Ajiboye Isaac, and this is another opportunity to learn mathematics. Today we'll be considering the topic indices. Is a very important topic in mathematics. So we'll look at our learning objectives at the end of the lesson. Students should be able to express base 10 numbers in index form. State and apply laws of indices and simplify system of indices. Key vocabulary words. Product. Product in mathematics means to multiply. Prime numbers simply means to the numbers that can be divided by only one and themselves. That is, numbers that have only two factors, one and itself is a prime number. Factor. The factor of a number a is a number which can divide a without any remainder. Prime factor. A prime factor is a factor of a number that is a prime. Indices. A number in the form a raised to the power of x is referred to as index number, where a is called the base and x is called the index power or exponent. Such numbers are commonly used in real life and therefore important to know how to handle. By that we mean how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide such numbers. So that is what the topic is all about. We want to know how to handle index numbers. For instance, 2 raised to power 3 is an index number. 4 raised to power half is an index number. So when you have 3 raised to power 2 times 3 raised to power 8 times 2 raised to power 2, these are what we call system of indices. So when you have more than one index number, you call them a system of indices. So the first thing to learn is how to express an index number, how to express a decimal number in index form. To do this, we express an index number by dividing the intended or the proposed base repeatedly. For example, express 81, 128 as index numbers. You can see what we did there. Express 81 as index number in base 2, solution. In base 3 rather, solution. We repeatedly divide 81 by 3. So if we divide 81 by 3, we get 27. Divide 27 by 3, we get 9. Divide 9 by 3, we get 3. 3 by 3, we get 1. Therefore, 81 is equal to 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. And that is 3 raised to the power of 4. So our 81 expressed as index number is 3 raised to the power 4. Express 128 as index number in base 2. Solution. 128 divided by 2 will give us 64. 2 in 64 will give us 32. 2 in 32 will give us 16. 2 in 16 will give us 8. 2 in 8 will give us 4. 2 in 4 will give us 2. And 2 in 2 will give us 1. Therefore, 128 expressed as an index number is 2 raised to power 7. Laws of indices. To be able to handle system of indices, we need to know how to certain laws to help us add, multiply, or divide index numbers. These laws are what we call the laws of indices. The first amongst them is if you are multiplying index numbers of the same base. index numbers of the same base, as we have in point number 1, a raised to power x times a raised to power y times a raised to power z is equal to a raised to power x plus y plus z. That is, you pick only one of the base and sum all the powers. Example, x raised to power 3 times x raised to power half. As you will notice, the two numbers or the two index numbers have the same base x. That is what will warrant us to add the powers 3 plus half, and that will give us x raised to power 3 and a half. Let me state clearly that this law only applies to index numbers of the same base. Index numbers of the same base. So when you are applying the law, make sure that the index number you want to apply the law are of the same base. Okay? Law 2 says that a raised to power x divided by a raised to power y divided by a raised to power z and so on is equal to a raised to power x minus y minus z. So in this case, when you are dividing index numbers of the same base, you just subtract the powers. You subtract the powers. Usually we say multiplication will give addition of powers, division will give subtraction of powers. Example, x raised to power 3 divided by x raised to power half, therefore be equals to x raised to power 3 minus half, and that will give us x raised to power 2 and a half. Law 3, a raised to power x, then raised to power y. A raised to power x, then raised to power y simply is equal to a raised to power x times y. That is, if you have a power in brackets and you also have another power outside the bracket, the two powers will multiply, not add, not subtract. The two powers will multiply. So that, let's take for example, 3 raised to power 6, bracket open, 3 raised to power 6, close bracket, raised to power half is equal to 3 raised to power 6 times half, and that will give us 3 raised to power 3. Law 4, x raised to power minus n is equal to 1 over x raised to power n. That simply suggests that if you have a negative index, you can remove the negative by placing 1 over the index number. For example, 3 raised to power minus 2 becomes 1 over 3 raised to power 2. 3 raised to power 2 is 9. So that is equal to 1 over 9. 5. Fractional index. X raised to power 1 over n. X raised to power 1 over n. That is equal to nth root of x. For instance, if I have x raised to power, or if I have 32 raised to power 1 over 5, that is 5th root of 32. And the 5th root of 32 is 2. In other words, 32 is 2 raised to power 5. So the 5th root and the power 5 will cancel out. Then you have 2. So therefore, the 5th root, which is the same thing as 32 raised to power 1 over 5, is 2. The 6th law says anything raised to the power of 0 is 1. The 7th law says that when you are multiplying index numbers of the same index, then you can just simply multiply the bases and take one index. That is, a raised to power x times b raised to power x times c raised to power x is equal to a times b times c, everything raised to the power of x. For example, open bracket 2ab, close bracket, raised to power 2 becomes 2 raised to power 2, a raised to power 2, b raised to power 2, which eventually will give us 4a squared b squared. Let's take other examples. Simplify. 81 raised to power 3 over 4 minus 27 raised to power 1 over 3. This becomes 3 times 2 raised to power over 3 times 2 raised to power 3. 81 is 3 raised to power 4. 27 is 3 raised to power 3. So if you replace 81 by 3 raised to power 4 and 27 raised to the power 3 raised to the power 3. Then we have open bracket 3 raised to the power 4 raised to the power 3 over 4 minus 3 raised to the power 3 raised to the power 1 over 3 over 3 times 2 raised to the power 3. This will be equal to, according to our third law, which says you can multiply the powers. This will become 3 raised to the power 4 times 3 over 4 minus 3 raised to the power 3 times 1 over 3 over 2 times 2 raised to the power 3. And that will be equals to, because 4 will divide 4, so you have 3 raised to the power 3 left, minus 3 will divide 3, that will give us 1. So we have minus 3 raised to the power 1 over 3 times 2 raised to the power 3. 3 raised to the power 3 is 27. 3 raised to the power 1 is 3. So we have 27 minus 3 over 3 times 8. 27 minus 3 is 24. And 3 times 8 is 24. So that 24 over 24 is equal to 1. Simplify. 3 raised to the power n minus 1 times 27 raised to the power n plus 1 over 81 raised to the power n. This will be equal to 3 raised to the power n minus 1 times 3 raised to the power 3 open bracket n plus 1 close bracket. And this eventually will give us 3 raised to the power n minus 1. Because of the multiplication, you will add the two first index, the two numerator index. So that will be 3 raised to the power n minus 1 plus 3n plus 3. Then you subtract the denominator index, that is minus 4n. N plus 3n will give us 4n. And then 4n minus 4n will become 0. Then you have minus 1 plus 3, and that will give us 2. So your final answer will now be 3 raised to the power 2, which will be equals to 9. Simplify. Cube root of 27 over 8, a raised to the power minus 9. 27 is 3 raised to the power 3. 8 is 2 raised to the power 3. And a raised to the power minus 9. This will give us, I can bring the 3 all out, the 3 power all out, just as simply, similar to applying law 7, bringing out all the 3. So I have 3 over 2, a raised to the power minus 3, all raised to the power 3. And according to the cube root now, the cube root and the power 3 will divide, will cancel out. So you have 3 over 2, a raised to the power minus 3. And that will be equal to 3 over 2 times 1 over a raised to the power 3. Removing the minus from the 3. That will be 1 over a raised to the power 3. So which eventually, when you multiply, will give us 3 over 2a raised to the power 3. Classwork. Please attend the following classwork and forward to my WhatsApp number. And attempt your assignment. It is due for submission first thing tomorrow morning. Thank you.